better singing starts here. And of course, you don't have to be bad to get better. I was once in a band with someone who would say, oh, we've been through the songs and they don't sound bad, we're all right. And I had to remove them from my band because it's not about not sounding bad, it's about being the best that you can be if you're serious about singing. And this was a band who, as members, we all said that we were serious about being serious professional musicians. This was right at the start of my professional career. And this guy obviously wasn't. So you don't have to be bad to get better. We can always improve. I'm always looking at ways that I can improve myself as a singer, as a person in general, and certainly as a coach. This is focused at singers of all levels. And for some of you, what I'm going to say will be obvious, but it still will be relevant to all of you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is listening to yourself. Most singers are not listening to themselves. And if you're not listening, what that means is that you're not really listening to what your voice needs and what your voice does. It also means that practical element of actually listening to your voice while you're singing and recording yourself. This is your phone, by the way. Recording yourself and listening back. And some of you are going to go, oh my God, Carrie, I hate the sound of my voice when I listen to it. And that's because you're not used to hearing it. So your voice sounds very different in your head to how it does when you actually listen to your voice when you're singing in a room. And it also sounds very different again when it's recorded back. So even on something as small as your phone, there's a microphone inside your phone, and there are processors inside that microphone or around that microphone. And there's more processing when it comes back out through the speaker that change the way your voice sounds anyway. It would still sound different anyway because it sounds different in your head to how it does outside of your body. So get used to hearing the sound of your voice. And if it sounds cringy now, you're gonna have to find a way to get over it if you're serious about singing, because you're gonna have to listen to yourself back. And the only way to get better is to know what it is that where you're making the mistakes, where you're slipping up, where you need some practice, and by working through that and practicing and keep listening to yourself back. Now, I've heard myself so many times now that it doesn't sound different to me. It just sounds the same, but that's just because I'm used to how my voice sounds in my head, on stage, and it sounds different in different rooms as well. So if you do a gig in a small space, it's going to sound very different to doing a gig at an outside festival. And depending on the equipment being used, it will all sound different still. So you might sound different at every single gig that you do. Not every single gig, that's not likely, especially if you're doing a lot of gigs. But at first, when you first start, you might sound different every time you perform publicly, because equipment sounds different, the space of the room is different. And even in sound checks, anyone who's done a lot of gigs will know this, in sound checks the room sounds very different when there's an audience in the room or in the venue than when the venue's empty, when you're doing the sound check before everyone arrives. So it's really important to get used to listening to yourself and the way your voice sounds and working with that rather than trying to change the way your voice sounds naturally. Now, when it comes to singing lessons and learning vocal techniques, it will slightly change the way that your voice sounds, but that will be because you're using your voice the correct way rather than trying to force it to do something that it's not supposed to do. Another thing that I see singers doing, especially if they're not used to doing vocal exercises, even if they're really good at pitching when they're actually singing songs, is just randomly grabbing at notes and hoping that you catch them. So if we're doing an exercise and the singer maybe can't find the beginning note of the exercise, let's say it's something very simple like ah. Now, if I say they're flat, for some people, I hear them go, and I see them in lessons going, just randomly trying to catch a note. Like, listen to the note, process how it sounds. If you're still flat, then go away, record yourself singing back to vocal exercises and see if you can tell whether your voice sounds lower, flat, or higher, sharp to the note. So lower than the note is flat, higher than the note is sharp. That's all there is to it. And if you're doing that a lot, then you're probably out of tune. Now, there is a difference where someone is out of key, and what that means is that they're singing the right melody, but they're not singing it in the same key, in the same area that the rest of the song is being played. So if I take this is a very good a good song to use as an example, very simple. So Back to Black. So the song starts on there. Most of the verse sits here. Now, if I were to sing it here, he left no time to regret, kept his thing wet with his same old safe bet. So I might be using the right melody on the wrong key. So he left no time to regret, kept himself wet with his same old safe bet. If I sing it up here, he left no time to regret. It doesn't sound out of tune, does it? Doesn't sound wrong because I'm now playing in the same key that I'm singing. But if I sing in the higher key and play in the correct key, he left no time to regret. Sounds awful, okay? So singing in the wrong key and singing out of tune, although they are technically the same, they're not exactly the same, they're very similar. So singing out of tune is more likely that you're trying to sing in the right key, but you're just not getting the right notes, okay? I'm not going to try and do that because it's just going to be painful for everyone. The next thing is to understand the feeling of singing. Take note of how your body feels when you sing. So you'll feel your voice resonating, vibrating in different places. You might feel it in your chest, you might feel it in your stomach, you might feel it in your throat, in the front or the back of your throat, you might feel it around the cavities of your skull. Now, you will feel it in different places. And as you get used to how your voice feels, where you feel your voice, when you're singing different sounds, when you're singing high, when you're singing low, when you're trying to mix your registers. If you don't understand what that means, then you can find my videos on mixed voice singing. There is a playlist. And when you learn to feel where your voice sits as you sing correctly, as you use the right techniques, it's going to change the way that you sing, because you're going to be much more in line and, for want of a better phrase, in tune with what your voice needs, okay? You're going to understand more what your voice needs rather than what you want it to do. So as well as listening to your voice, listen to your body and connect with how it feels when you're singing. Now, this is one that I touch on a lot. Stop trying to sound good. Sounding good isn't going to make you a better singer. Understanding how your voice works and what you can do to help it along the way, that's what's going to improve your singing. And you can do that by watching videos like this, by reading books, by going to seminars, by doing courses. There are short courses, long courses, one-to-one vocal lessons. And there are lots of different ways to engage with learning how to sing. Now, most people go straight to, I need a one-to-one vocal coach. And that's not always the case. And it isn't right for everyone. Not everyone is ready for a one-to-one vocal coach. I've had some singers, I don't do this anymore, but I've had some singers who have been gifted birthday presents or Christmas presents because very loving families and friends think it will help them, but actually what they need isn't voice coaching. They just need to go along to a singing group once a week and just have some fun. So it isn't for everyone, but if you are serious and you want to be a semi-professional or a professional singer or singer-songwriter, then it might be an option for you. Now, a way that you can get started with all of this, listening to yourself, feeling, adjusting what you're doing when you're singing, is to sing long, straight notes. Now, what we're not doing here is going, ah, and trying to sound good, all right? You can tell there, that was me imitating someone trying to sound good. I'm not mocking anyone, but that is what a lot of people do. And you lose control when you try to sound good. Just let your voice do what your voice does. It knows what it needs to do. And when you give it the right help and not trying to do something different to what it needs to do, you will find singing much easier. So starting on long, straight notes like this is going to help you to A, feel what's going on when you sing, and B, hear what your voice is doing. So you'll know if your throat is tense, or if your stomach is tense, or if your shoulders are tense, or if you try to use your throat when you sing, or if there's lots of air coming out. You'll start to understand that the more that you do these types of exercises. So we're going to just sing to R. R is a very exposing sound. If your voice is shaky and wobbly, don't worry. Don't try to make it straight. Don't try to make it stable if it's not yet stable. What I want you to do at the moment is just listen to your voice, listen to your body, and connect with the feeling and the sound of your voice and you singing. Don't try to do anything fancy. Here we go. So the tempo is and we hold it for 8 beats, and then we take a breath and we move up the scale. So here we go, 5, 6, 7. Keep going, you've got this. Nice and gently, you don't need to push. Nice and gently. So make sure you're holding the single note, not pulsing. Almost there. Last one. And relax. So hopefully what you've picked up from this is that listening to yourself is very, very, very important. All of the best singers listen to themselves all the time. And you'll find that when you start listening to yourself more and start to understand what it is that your body does, your whole body is your instrument. When you sing, you'll start to find that working with the techniques is much easier, which will make singing so much easier and much more enjoyable. So today's t-shirt is The Ruts. So this is The Ruts, who started in, I believe, 1979, another punk band, kind of punky, kind of reggae-ish influences as well. My band takes a lot of influence from The Ruts. I really, really like them. Very, very friendly guys as well. Now, the reason that I mention my t-shirt is because I think it's very important for musicians to listen to lots of different types of music. Now, to be fair, most of my t-shirts are punk rock t-shirts because they're the gigs that I go to these days mainly, but I do go to lots of other types of gigs as well, just because I love music, obviously. And I want to share my love of music with you guys. And the other reason that I'm mentioning my t-shirt is because this is something that I've started to do, and I want to feature you on this channel. So if you are an artist or you're in a band and you've got some stuff uploaded, you've got some music uploaded, send me the links in the comments. I will listen to your music, and if you have merchandise and I like what I hear, I will buy your merchandise. And if you don't have merchandise, if I like what I hear, I will mention you. And even if you don't have merchandise, I will support you by listening to your music, downloading your music, and mentioning you to my friends and family. So I will share your music, and what I would love for you to do in return is to like and share this video with other singers that you think will help. Let's help each other and really build a supportive community. If you would like to get even more involved in the community, then join the membership. You'll see the join button underneath the video. There are 2 levels. One is the standard level for people who are just getting into singing, and the green room is for people who are more serious about singing and want some direct access to me. So you can ask me questions in my private WhatsApp group when you join the green room. That's the higher tier, and you can have a chat with me and join the community chat with some of the other singers that are my one-to-one singers and some of the other members of the channel as well. So I look forward to seeing you there. Stay hydrated. Ciao.